Fuck no, we can't.
Your example of this is that the reason capitalism is immoral because they're sending fucking money to genocidal Israelis.
Andrew,
have capitalism where they don't do that. Haas says no.
All right.
Andrew Wilson completely obliterates this woke communist Haas in this heated debate over capitalism and morality, as Andrew Wilson takes a blowtorch to Haas's entire argument, showing how communism brain rots you and leaves you incapable of making any actual rational thoughts. Let's get in.
This is the problem with capitalism, in my view. Everyone can individually be moral and not be saying, oh, you're immoral individual. Even if we assume that was true, they're producing inadvertently a fundamentally immoral outcome where no individual will be held responsible.
What makes it immoral if all the people are moral?
If people are falling deeper and deeper into destitution and pauperization, if people are falling into desperation, if people are having their livelihoods robbed of them, having everything alienated from them in terms of their means of production, guess what? It's going to lead to inadvertent outcomes that are not necessarily the result of one wicked individual will, but are the result of a wicked system.
Can a system exist without individuals?
No,
so you're saying that,
but individuals, by virtue of their interdependency, of course, the individual, any given society, though it's composed of individuals, produce an outcome inadvertent and irreducible to the sum of its parts.
Is it the outcome that they wanted?
Are you like Margaret Thatcher and you think that society doesn't exist, only individuals?
Hang on. I'm almost done with the internal critique. I'm happy if you give me one. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I need to ask you, if the population desires this, whatever it is you think is immoral, if you can consider the population to be moral, and then you still say, well, the results of the population are immoral.
It's hypocrisy.
What's the hypocrisy of saying that the population itself is moral?
Because they're producing an outcome that is contrary to the moral purport that they're exercising individually.
So how can every individual in a population be moral, but have an outcome which is immoral?
Like I said, because men and women make history, but not as they please. Because history itself is the product of individuals producing outcomes that are not reducible and even oftentimes contrary to their intentions individually. Hegel calls this the cunning of reason, actually.
Yeah, no, let's we can even move back to Hegel.
Yeah.
How can every single individual in a population make nothing but moral decisions, and they all come to immoral outcomes?
Well, okay, so if this is like a system, a closed system you're talking about, they could start off as moral and then produce an immoral outcome, which will then corrupt their morality inevitably. So I don't believe that they could. Not moral. I don't believe they could remain moral. No, but I think they could start out as moral and produce an immoral outcome, which could then corrupt their morality.
So let's move back to communism then. So when we're talking about communism itself, what is the thing about communism which inherently is going to make the population moral?
The thing about communism is that it's going to make it so that the means by which people exist are not inevitably immoral. So you're opening up the opportunity for society to be moral. There's no guarantee that it will, but at least it's possible.
Yeah, but you still haven't actually demonstrated why it would be impossible under capitalism.
Okay.
All you've done is claim that there's a possibility that an entire society could be moral.
All right,
adopt capitalism, and then somehow it could be corrupted. You haven't demonstrated
it will
that
be.
It will be necessary.
Okay. So we agree that
it will be.
We agree that capitalism is about the pursuit of profit at the expense of everything else. Correct or no?
At the expense of everything else, no.
What is an example of a capitalist society that doesn't fall under that qualification?
Because I think people can make moral decisions with profit.
Okay. I'm talking about societies.
I'm talking about societies.
Okay.
Societies are individuals.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
What else are they?
Societies are a common reality shared by individuals, which is irreducible to all of them. No, it's a.
Are you different than him?
Sure.
And is he different than him?
Sure.
Okay, so then is it you and you and you that makes a society?
No, it's the inadvertent outcome of our relationships that produce the society.
Which would not exist without you being you and him being him and him being him.
Which we give recognition in super individual ways. We in our language recognize these things. We recognize such a thing as society and the state and history and nations.
Yes, because the underlying etymology of these things is promoting individualism.
No.
Society. Okay, can society exist without
individualism?
Hang on.
Yeah.
If zero people existed, could society exist?
Individualism is not just the reality of individuals. Individualism is the view according to which...
You're not answering my question. If zero individuals existed, could society exist?
Of course not. Of course not.
What if 3 individuals existed?
Couldn't be a society, probably.
What is a society then?
I would probably define society as a ability to reproduce a people. So you would
3 individuals could definitely do that.
No, because what I mean, a people, you reproduce a specific mode of reproduction. Like, for example, you're passing down mores and norms between different peoples, and these mores, these norms, these relationships themselves could viably be reproduced across generations. I think that's probably
how. You mean a family?
Well, one family couldn't do that by
Why
itself. Well, okay, if you started out with Adam and Eve, it could eventually lead to a society.
Then, yes, one family could do it.
One's family could not constitute a society.
Why not?
Because a society isn't just made up of an arbitrary number of individuals. A society
sounds like it is.
A society is the inadvertent result of different individuals coming into relation with one another. In the case of a family, a single family unit, you couldn't really call that a society, because in the very nature of what a society is, right, it already implies there's multiple different families who have mediating their relationships with one another in a specific way.
If there's no individuals who exist on planet Earth other than one family, is that society?
Honestly, it's just kind of like a retarded question.
I don't think it's a retarded question. Saying it's retarded isn't an argument. If there's one family on planet Earth...
It's not a society. It's not a society.
Then what is it?
It's a family.
Which exists absent a society?
Well, could it exist absent the context of one? No.
No. That's it.
It would have had to have descended from some society then.
Nobody's saying anything... Well, no. Why would it have had to, actually?
Because there's no way for human beings to exist outside of a society.
Why?
This is the nature of human beings. They're social beings.
Could you exist on a desert island by yourself?
But you would have borne the artifacts of some society you came from. So you would be imprinted by some society still.
So then you're a society?
Sorry?
You're a society on the island?
No, you came from somewhere. Could a baby... Yeah, but this is the question. Could a baby on an island raise itself and grow up by itself, just totally absent from the influence of any society? No. Impossible. It's an absurd question.
It would die. No, it's not an absurd question, because it's getting into the idea of what you consider a society to be. And I think that is important. I'm not trying to be tricky or debate Broly. Yeah. I just want to make sure that we're clear on what it is that we're talking about. So
I think most people understand very clearly what we're talking about when we use words like society. I don't think we need to create.
Actually, in that case, I don't think
we need to create invariable parameters that are relevant only for abstract cases like propositional logic or math.
You know what?
When we're using words like society, when we use words, we're relying on people's intuitions and sensibilities. If we had to qualify every single word that we use in the most invariable, precise manner and never deviate from that, language itself would be impossible. There would be no way to communicate anything except math. Okay, so
agreed. But here's the thing. So maybe we can find common ground again. I agree that almost all of society, when I say the word thief, is going to agree on what that means. It means I stole shit that ain't mine. You would agree with it. You would agree with it. He would agree with it. I would agree with it. I agree. I'm not sure that we would hold a shared definition or idea of society and what that is. And so I think it is necessary when we're talking about a distinct concept, when you say, we can't define every single word or human language would become obsolete. I agree.
So you think in order for me to use the word society, I have to establish absolute invariable definition?
No, I just need a general idea. That's it.
Okay. So what is so wrong with the general idea of a society as the inadvertent outcome of many individuals and their interrelations?
I have a different general idea of that than you do.
That's my best shot at, from scratch, off the top of my head, trying to define that word.
I think that's fair. I'm just saying to you that if we're talking about societies in general, we're talking about their morals, right? The idea of morality under communism.
Okay.
I just want to know, Haas, what is the thing that makes communism moral and capitalism immoral? The thing, the delineation point here. And I feel like
all I have said is that communism makes morality possible. Capitalism makes it impossible.
Yeah, you haven't.
And see, this is always the madness with a communist when you try to debate with them, because the one thing that they don't pay attention to is consequences. They argue everything through a moral lens, all the while ignoring the will of the masses and trying to institute morality from a top down rather than the bottom sending representatives up in order to run their actual government. Communism has never worked in any part of the world, yet they argue it's so moral and it's so much better. I would ask this guy, considering that communism has never worked and it always ends terribly, and the largest number of lives lost by their own leaders are communists, Chairman Mao and Joseph Stalin, the two biggest. But that you choose to go that route anyway, and you choose to, try and push communism despite those consequences. How is that moral? If you're going to have a moral argument, how about that one? How about you not take the path that ends up killing tens and tens and tens and tens and millions of your own people? Because only a communist system has ever actually managed to achieve that. And communism doesn't make anything moral. It makes it immoral, because you have to basically hold a gun to someone's head and force them to do something against their will in order to institute your morality, instead of capitalism, which is supposed to be a fair trade, free market system to which people cannot have something pointed at their head, and they can make an exchange absent a government on whether or not they choose to, agree that this is a fair trade, right? That's not what communism does. But let me know down below if you think this communist Haas is absolutely out of his mind, and hit that like button and notification bell if you're enjoying the video. And if you want to help support the channel, check out the link in the description, and let's get back in.
Show me how, though.
What do you want me, what precise answer are you looking for? Because I tried to begin from a shared premise of capitalism. Mm-hmm. Like, we're talking about the same thing, a system, not an individual, but a system in which profit is in command and is supreme. You said no, because there can be moral capitalists. I don't give a fuck that there can be moral capitalists.
But you said there couldn't be.
I said the system itself would inevitably lead to widespread wickedness and immorality.
Never demonstrated that.
Okay, because I'm trying to begin from somewhere with you. If we agree that capitalism as a system means profits are in command, even if there are some moral capitalists and some moral people, and I don't deny that they exist under capitalism,
sure,
even the majority may be moral, but we will see the rise of widespread immorality and wickedness, not because of the shortcomings of individuals, but because of the nature of the system itself. Despite the fact that there are some capitalists that are moral, that doesn't change the fact that we're all participating in a fucking system that's producing immoral outcomes. For example, all of our tax dollars right now are going to Israel. Does that make me immoral that I support personally immoral? Does that make you personally immoral?
But that's not a concept. So,
our tax dollars are going to genocide right now. Are we both immoral?
Can you agree with me that you can have a capitalist society where they send no money to Israel?
Show me.
Can you agree that you can have a capitalist society where they send no money to Israel?
I don't like hypotheticals because I like to talk about reality.
You asked plenty of them, but now you suddenly don't like them.
I've only brought up hypotheticals in response to yours to demonstrate their absurdity.
Can you have a capitalist society where they don't send fucking money to Israel or not, Haas?
Apparently fucking not.
No?
Apparently fucking not.
I don't know what to say about that,
Based on actual fucking reality, no.
No.
All right.
Based on the actual world we live in and not the fairy tale castle we construct in our minds and our heads, fuck no, we can't.
Your example of this is that the reason capitalism is immoral because they're sending fucking money to genocidal Israelis.
Andrew.
Have capitalism where they don't do that. Haas says no.
All right, let's calm down a little bit. I'm going to calm down.
If you listen to the madness this idiot Haas is saying, demonizing profits, then I would ask this guy one simple question. Show me a society that stays in business without making profits. Show me a single society that did not collapse in on itself because it could no longer continue to make profits. Show me a single one. Never happens. Why? Because profits basically rule everything. Now, whether or not you become greedy, you take advantage, you become nefarious with it, that's a different question. But the idea that profits, that you earning a fair return on your investment or your labor is inherently evil. This guy has just demonized every single economic system that's ever existed. Because even the Soviet Union, even China, every empire, every feudal system, everybody has tried to make profits. That's how stupid this guy is. He just invalidated every single civilization that's ever existed or would ever exist by his own argument. But thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought about what Andrew Wilson had to say, completely destroying this woke communist Haas in this heated debate. Thanks again, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.